Welcome to the Porch Podcast. Welcome to the Porch Podcast. It's your boy, DJ E, Mr. Influential, and I'm rocking with my brother, man.
Yeah, P Original, baby. Welcome back, y'all.
Yeah.
New week, new episode.
Yeah.
You know, as I say each and every week, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you.
We do. We appreciate that.
Welcome, y'all.
Welcome,
man.
Welcome.
We're so glad you can be here once again, man. Me and E are just so thankful for another opportunity to share our perspectives and opinions. I got a few things I wanted to talk about tonight.
Just put your little deacon voice on that.
Well, it's so fitting that you would say deacon. But before I go where I want to go, because this is going to be very interesting.
Right, you sound like Pop.
Well, that's fine. I'm Junior.
Yeah.
So let's stick with the theme of what we do first and foremost. How was your week?
Great.
You back out there.
Great.
You back out there.
I've always been out there.
You just admitted it.
Yeah.
How long have you been out there?
Out there getting
that's
money.
great. Nah.
I never said
Are you
I
out
was
there getting money?
Nah, not to get money. Not the locked up way. Not that. I've never been there.
Oh.
Never been there, so
but
I
you've
can't
been
tell
out there, though. You've been out there. You've been out there.
Yeah, I'm hustling.
Okay. Talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Had a couple events that
I've
you
had
want to shout out. A couple events. Shout them out, man. Shout them out,
You know
man.
what I mean? So Friday, man, shout out to my brothers, man.
There we go.
Splash
There we go.
Life, you
There
know
we
what
go.
I mean? We had Drew Sidora. Drew Sidora came, you know what I mean? Let's clap it up from right there at Cooper's. Drew Sidora, she's on Atlanta Housewives. Did you used to watch the show The Game?
Yeah.
Remember when Derwin first cheated on
And
Melanie?
Housewives.
Remember when Derwin first cheated on Melanie with the girl
I
that was singing?
I know, not really.
Okay, so Drew Sidora.
That's her, though?
Yeah, and Drew Sidora's on Atlanta Housewives.
Okay, what
right
would
now.
okay, all right. Oh, now. Oh, yeah, I ain't seen it in a minute.
Her name's Drew on the,
Yeah.
on the show.
It's
She-
her. It's her.
On the
It's
game.
her.
In the game, her name was Drew. But
Oh, okay.
she also
Wow.
played T-Boz in the TLC movie.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now I know who you're talking about. Okay. She was there.
She was there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I was
awesome.
right
That's
there.
awesome. That
Sit
was
right
dope.
next to her, sitting there chilling. You know, talking
What,
to
sit
her
next to
security.
me? I thought you said sitting right
No,
next
sit
to
next
you.
to her. Nah. Sitting there talking to her security about a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just chit-chatting and
Yeah.
everything. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good. What was the event about? Like, it was just a
It was an R&B party that they Splash Life. They do them all the time. Let's clap it up.
shout out for
my boys,
Splash
man.
Life, man. That's family.
Shoes, Sino.
That's family.
You know
All
what I mean?
family. All family.
You know how it
All
is.
family. Absolutely.
Nah,
Absolutely.
So
That was Friday.
that was Friday.
Talk about Saturday.
Saturday, I did a birthday party for a special young lady that I remember when she was born. Let's clap it up. Happy birthday, Ilis.
Oh, wow. Happy
know what I mean?
Happy belated birthday.
Casey and Rob's, first child. Their happy birthday, Ilis.
Okay. Okay. Happy birthday, Queen.
You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
That was at the Mercer Boathouse.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. They had the guy who doesn't like to swim. Notice I didn't say can't. Because I think when you say you can't, then you'll never do.
Right.
So the guy that doesn't like to
I got a
swim,
quarter today too. It's good. That's a good you talking about can't.
we're gonna start making it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a lot to talk about.
Right. But
But we'll talk about the boathouse.
not a boathouse. The Mercer Boathouse is. I don't know if you ever been at an event there. It just sits right there on the lake at Mercer County Park.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Not to an event, but I've seen it.
Oh yeah, it's nice. And it's
It's nice.
beautiful inside.
It is.
Of it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I've never been to an event, but I've seen the venue.
Yeah, they do weddings,
Very nice.
everything there. Shout
Yeah.
out to them. Right there. And,
Absolutely.
Yesterday, very special clapper. Very
Let's do that.
special.
Let's do that. How about
event
that? Let's do that.
yesterday.
Let's do that.
You know what I mean? It was the Trenton Heroes Awards. You know what I mean? Let's clap it up for them one more time. Shout out to all the founders.
Shout out to all the honorees.
All the honorees. You know what I mean? Couple founders. One named Tosh Jasmine. You know what I mean? Which is Miss Tosh. Dr. Toshana Ellis.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
Let's go. Let's clap it up
when
for
you earn
sis.
that. They
Doctor.
ain't nothing nobody give you.
Shout out to bro Omar Akins, also another
Peace, brother
founder.
O.
You know what I mean?
All right,
You know what I
all
mean?
right.
Do remember though, April 12th, he got the podcast event. We are a part of that.
We will be
You know what I
there.
mean? And July 12th, we're gonna go to July 12th. He's doing the adult prom down at Cooper's too. He's doing that
Outstanding.
too. Let's
An
clap it
adult
up for
prime.
that.
That sounds very
Yeah, he's
interesting.
doing that.
Okay.
Cali Cal was a founder. Kev,
My man,
One
Cali
Host, a
Cal.
founder.
My man, Cash.
Our sister
All
Tiffany
good brothers.
Munn is a founder.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know,
You
sisters
know what I
in
mean?
the
Clap
building.
it up for sis.
Wow.
Noel,
All-star lineup.
yeah, Muhammad.
Okay.
It's a lot of people, man.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
The Bellamy's, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Mr. and Mrs. Bellamy, the pastor and first lady, you know how it is. So
Absolutely.
It was a great event, man. So that was the first one. They're gonna keep it going. And this is the thing. Everything was free. Didn't cost to get in.
Okay.
Didn't cost to get in.
Right.
They didn't charge people nothing to come. They had a bunch of sponsors. And shout out, I want to shout out to Coopers. Coopers actually even gave them the building for free. And that is very rare.
Yeah.
Because it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap to do a party.
I gotta definitely commend them for that because these venues, man,
up.
you know, as a husband of an event planner, you know, I know how these venues can definitely be pretty expensive.
But that was a very, very, very nice event, man. We need to do more of that. They honored a lot of people for achievements, accomplishments, and people that didn't get honored around this time. You know, it's an events like this. You can't always
take it personal.
Yeah, you can't.
First and foremost,
think
you know,
everybody's going to.
You're a hero. You're a hero whether you get, you know, nominated or recognized for that. Just keep doing what you're doing,
right?
Because your efforts are definitely well appreciated.
Yeah.
So for all those who got recognized in this first one, shout out to y'all once again. Salute to all of y'all. You know what I mean? And hey man, keep being heroes.
Yeah,
keep being heroes.
Keep being heroes.
Absolutely.
So I do have a quote of the day.
Well, my week was fine. You know what I mean? And so, you know, for those who care, maybe E doesn't. Because E doesn't. Right?
You became Patricia right there. Yeah,
so
a week was fine.
You know what I mean?
He done been mom and pop in the same show.
I mean, wow, I had a week too. That was crazy. Asked him nicely. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I seen Ashley Larry last week. Did I say that?
You did tell me.
Yeah, okay,
you did tell me. You and the brother shared some chicken wings together.
Yeah, right. Yes, sir.
Okay, I did a little more than was necessary. Y'all didn't share the plate of chicken wings. Yeah. You ate in the same establishment.
Right. Yeah.
What's the name of the establishment? Why don't you shout them out?
Dora Bet.
Only time we doing it for free.
Dora Bet.
Okay, right
Ethiopian fried chicken, West Philadelphia.
Okay. So shout out to that establishment. Love to come
Baltimore Avenue.
Right. The Porch Brothers would love to come and, you know, sit down and have. He already done spoke highly of you.
Yeah, we going
back.
So I
definitely know. We'll definitely show up, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
You know, sounded a little greedy when I said it. but you know, my week's been, you know, been fine. Like I say each and every week, man, you know. One way I'm still here to tell you about the following week or the week before means that I had to do pretty well.
Right.
Because I'm still around.
Still around.
You know what I mean? Moving around, weekend, getting ready for show stuff and everything like that with my youngest daughter, so that's dope. You know what I mean? It was beautiful weather-wise. I can't complain about that at all. Been on the move, trying to get things ready, getting ready to start 75 Hard Challenge again. By the time y'all see this, I will already be actively involved into that. For those, once again, who don't know what that is, it's a challenge where it's 75 days straight. You know what I mean? You read a book about self-growth and development, okay, of your choice. A minimum of 10 pages a day, right? 75 days straight. 2 workouts. It should be one inside the house and one's outside the house, and a modified diet. Love it. Did it before. Getting ready to kick that off. Like I said, by the time you guys see it, it'll be in motion. Other than that, weekend was fantastic. Had time with the family. Great weather. And here we are now.
Here we are.
I want you to go ahead and deliver your quote of the day, bro, because I want to spin back to something to move forward.
Spin back.
To move forward.
I like that.
Right.
Like that. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Right. What's your quote?
The quote of the day. Whether you say you can or you can't, either way you right.
Absolutely.
By Henry Ford.
Yes.
Let's clap that.
And I remember that.
That's dope right there.
One more time for him, brother.
Whether you say you
can, okay,
or you can't.
You right.
Either way, you're right.
Oh, okay. So first and foremost, powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Super dope. Mm-hmm. To me, if I'm interpreting from my perspective,
right,
I kind of take it from the perspective of what you believe you are.
There you go.
Is what you are.
That's what it is.
You know what I mean? And what you believe that you are incapable of doing, you won't ever do.
There you go.
Absolutely. We've been talking about it lately in a lot of these episodes. Absolutely. Just because we haven't done it don't mean that we can't do it.
Right.
This is why I said to you about the boathouse.
Right.
You know, at the place where you just didn't swim. That's why you said what you said about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, reason why I say I wanted to kind of take a spin backwards to spin forward. How much did they charge at Cooper's just to reiterate to the people, the venue, how much did they charge?
Around they usually charge without being too around.
No. How much did they charge Sunday? You ain't got a breakdown with
Nothing.
Nothing. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Everything was absolutely free.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Did anybody at any point in time get on the microphone when it was time to leave and say, close the doors? Did anybody say close the doors?
Nah.
Anybody ask anybody for $20 when it was time to get ready to leave?
Nah.
They ain't say, you know what I mean?
You got to pay to go.
I need $20.
Or you can't leave.
Okay. Where am I going with this?
Right, yeah.
Have you been hearing anything? The latest situation with Marvin Sapp?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Enlighten me.
So, by the time, once again, you guys see this, it'll already be after the fact. But Marvin Sapp has a video that's going around, and it's talking about, it shows him. He's on stage. Okay. In the pulpit. Better than that. But it's one of the big places, it's a convention center from what I understand later on. But he's up there and he's telling the people there that he wants them to give an offering. The people that's out there, the congregation, the people that's in the crowd. I want everybody out there, I want 1,000 people. That's what he said, 1,000 people to all give $20.
$20,000.
Okay. But as he's saying this, he's explaining why the offering would be collected. He asked everybody there, he said, were you enlightened? Like, do you feel like you benefited from today's, service? Do you feel enlightened? And he said, everybody, you can't see the crowd, the camera's obviously just focused on him. And he was like, yeah, okay, cool. That's when he starts the situation. He tells the ushers, close the door. Close the doors. Close the doors.
That's how he said it?
That's how he said it.
Okay.
Yeah, your chance, you got to sit. You know what I mean?
That ashtray ain't come out, did it?
No ashtray
Okay,
came
all
out.
right, cool.
No ashtray
That's
came out.
Sure.
Hell, you don't want to go, do you? Don't bring that ashtray up in church anymore. That's crazy. So no, they didn't come up. Okay?
Hell.
So he goes into a situation where he starts talking about the $20. For those that's out there, I want 1,000 people. Then he goes as far as saying to the people that are watching at home, I need 1,000 of the viewers that's home to give $20. He said, now, after he told him to close the doors as far as the ushers, he said, I want him to come up here and I want you to give. Come now. This is kind of like the way he is actually saying it, bro. When you get a chance, look at it. The people that are up there with him, right, that's on the stage with him, he says, put your $20 away. I'm asking for $100 from all of y'all that's up here because it costs to be up here. I don't know how many people's up there. So we can't even begin to put that number together, but we got a calculated amount of $40,000. What people are focusing on right now, and I totally get it, and as a matter of fact, I think that he even knows that should have been presented differently, even if that's what it was going to be said. And I'm definitely not justifying any of the actions. He was on Ricky Smiley's show, and he was saying that maybe the way that I said it was a little too assertive. Mm-hmm. I personally believe that it should have never been him saying it, right? First off, you should never be telling, and they kind of try to, go about it a different way. You're telling the ushers to close the doors. And now he wants to make Ricky Smiley, are trying to make a point to say that there's a difference between closing the doors and locking the doors. If you lock the doors, a person's being held hostage. But if I say to close the doors, and then he went on to explain, ushering 101, right? There's 3 times that you're not supposed to move based on just church etiquette, for lack of terms. One is when they're obviously, he said it, bro, you would know better than I in this regard, where I guess it's a term he used, and I can't quote it, and I don't want to misquote it. But it's one time is when they're doing offerings as well, and then the other time is, he said these 3 times, but one of the times is offerings. I definitely can tell you that. It could have been, but I'd rather not misquote it and say that when you get a check. Not tithes, he said offerings, right? But it was 2 other things.
Between those two.
Right. So this is why I'm saying, this is why I'm being, I know for a fact the offerings was it, because that's kind of been the focal point of the situation. Yeah, but there's 2 other times, right? Like I said, it was on the Ricky Smiley show. Point in that situation is that they wanted to spend a lot of time to try to defend the situation by saying that he said close the doors and not lock the doors. And my only thing about the situation dealing with saying that when you say close the doors, closing the doors, even from that perspective, in the church generally means that the pastor doesn't want don't want people moving. Right? That's just from a church etiquette perspective. Right. Don't want you moving.
Right.
So when you try to paint the narrative later on that when I say close the doors, it's not the same as lock the doors, we can insinuate anything, right? We can easily come to the realization that when you say close the doors, if that's not, even though you're not saying lock the doors, well, why are they closing the doors? If that was the case, like somebody else said, well, why was the doors ever open? It'd be different if the doors was closed already and you started the situation. But the doors are closed, which means that people at that point have free will to leave, and then all of a sudden you say close the doors. So why are you trying to make, an excuse based on certain terminology not being used, closed versus locked? The reality of it is that when you do something like that, it seems as if you're being demanding.
Right.
Marvin Sapp is a very wealthy man. His music alone, I'm quite sure, allows him to live comfortably. Mm-hmm. I don't think that, in my opinion, bro, I think that as opposed to trying to make, not an excuse, but to come up with some kind of clarification to something that you should just really say, I apologize. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I should not have done that. I should not have said that, because when you turn around and you make the statement, even if that's the question or if that's what you're saying in terms of, I didn't say lock the doors, I said close the doors. When you turned around and said to the people that was in the pulpit with you, up there on that stage with you, you said to them, put your $20 away. I'm asking for $100 from all of y'all because it costs to be up here. Now you on the Ricky Smiley show and you saying that when you certain things, when you start talking about currency, everything we're talking about is a dollar amount in that situation.
Right.
So when you make the statement based on the fact that you're saying that everybody that's up here, put your 20 away and you need to give 100, all we talking about is money. Ain't nobody giving away no cattle. Ain't nobody giving away no, anything like that. So what are we talking about? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think what we wind up doing, bro, is even though we have a good intent, and I'm not in his heart, but I'm going to say that the brother has a good heart. Sometimes it's better for us just to say, I delivered that wrong.
Yeah. But
I apologize for that. I should not have said it that way. Yeah. I should not have said that, and I should not have addressed that situation.
See, the thing is, he's human first. So,
right.
So at the end of the day, what I'm saying about that he's human first, what I'm basically saying is, he may have a problem with, just because he's Marvin Sapp and he loves God. I love God.
Absolutely.
And he sings and he makes music.
God is dope.
God is dope sweatshirt on right now. Mm-hmm. And all that. Doesn't mean he may not be an assertive man or a demanding man in his personal life. And then at that time, he let that shortcoming, because it's cool to be assertive and sometimes it's cool to be demanding and sometimes, but not all the time. And he let that moment be the wrong time.
That's right.
Because he's still human first.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I ain't the one to judge him.
No.
And I ain't saying you are.
No, I'm not.
And all of that nature. But we do kind of got to be mindful of the things we say sometimes and the things that we do, especially when we're doing it.
Right. You
know what I mean?
Right.
So let's use this for an example. You're at church, and the moment a lot of times churches start to talk about money, people turn their nose up, they turn their eyes up.
Brother said that, man.
Right? However, though.
Talk about it.
It's people that's in the strip club, and if they throw their money up there,
right,
looking at a fantasy.
Come on now.
Bottom line, people going to spend their money on what they want to spend it on anyway. But the difference is, when that girl's dancing on the stage, she ain't telling you, I need all y'all to throw $100 up here.
Right. Because that's why he said, I'm going to tell you this part, why you put a pin in what you're saying. He just said this part real quick. He said, close the doors. Y'all ain't in a rush to get nowhere but to the restaurant.
Yeah. And that's what they choose to do with their money.
Talk about it.
He's a man. He's still a human. That's what I'm saying. He thought he can talk that talk and not have to be and be held accountable for it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's a lot of people out there, bro. It's people can have a wrong form of emotional intelligence, even as a pastor, a gospel singer, anything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? A doctor, lawyer, judge,
yeah. All human.
You're human first.
That's right.
First of all, he ain't got to say he regretted a little bit, because the way he said on the show, maybe I was a little too assertive. You're admitting fault. Okay, I could have did that different.
Right.
We all could have do things different. But what you're saying is, it's like, yeah, I think, again, too, bro, it goes back to what I said last week, and I'm not saying that you're saying this, but what some people look at, just like I said, some people want you to forgive them the way they want you to forgive them.
Absolutely.
Some people want you to apologize the way they want you to apologize to.
Absolutely.
And some people you just ain't going to get that apology from because their intention may not been to hurt you.
Right.
Or make you feel like you were pressured. Yet, he wanted $20 from 1,000 people. $20 from 1,000 people at home and $100 from them on stage.
Yeah.
And if it's 100 people on the stage, come on now.
Yeah.
He still wanted that. That ain't nothing. That ain't going away.
He said no. Bring the thing up here. I want him to bring them. I want him to come up here. I want him to come up here.
But see, that was stupid at right there is because everybody can't get up there. You got 1,000 people trying to come up to the stage. They may knock each other off.
Like you said, Marvin Sapp is a I don't know him personally, but I don't have any negative ill will towards him at all.
No.
None.
I don't know him either.
I think, like you said, first and foremost, he's human, right? And whether he never apologizes, bro, like that's irrelevant, you know what I mean, to anything. I think that onus, right? Like we accept ownership, right? And that starts with us individually first. We accept ownership. Now, I tell people, it's not about, like, for instance, when he went on Ricky Smiley's show and he said, you know, I have multiple streams of income. I didn't need the 40. I don't need 40,000. I didn't get anything from any of that. I had nothing to do with it. The reality of it is he said, I have music, I have stocks, I have investments, I play the market, I have businesses, I have mortgages, and he was running all these things down. And then he went as far as to saying, you know what I mean, you got churches that's being robbed, right? Like literally, like we seen in the past years, there's people running into the churches and robbing them. And I'm listening to him and I'm saying to myself, bro, you don't have to do that. Like,
if you meant what you meant, you don't have to explain yourself.
Right. Now it seems like you're trying to explain something. But if that's what you was, like they say, standing on business, if that's where you were at with it, then and it was no malice behind it, you don't have to offer any of this stuff up at this point.
It's a right and wrong way to say it.
That's all.
And you just said it wrong, man. You meant what you meant, but you said it wrong. It would have, because here's the thing. You felt like, because this is the way you're saying, I don't know what you're saying. To be to you, God told me to deliver the message like that. He may have. But he may not have wanted you to do it for you to get the money. It may be for you to learn a lesson within yourself.
Yeah. And the memes is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They it's crazy.
I ain't seen it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna see it.
They said some guy said he got in the car and a Marvin Sapp song came on and all his doors locked. He couldn't get out the car.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like that right there. You know what I'm saying?
I'm only saying this stuff, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I'm thinking about life from a saved perspective, right? Okay, standards, all right, awareness. I wrote it down. Standards, awareness, value, education, and delivery. Right? Standards, awareness, value, education, and delivery. A lot of times we have all of these things, and even within the concept of being saved, we're still human. Standards, awareness, value, education, and delivery. Right?
I'm gonna let you go ahead and say what you say.
So the point in that situation, bruh, is sometimes we forget to account for being human. So when we are human, as opposed to just being human and accepting that, we try to find a way to be larger than human. And then it looks like we're trying to create different things when it's unnecessary. Marvin Sapp is still a great, he said he pastored the church, bro, for 16 years and never took a dime and never gave less than $30,000 a month for 9 years straight while he was there.
Again, he's doing too much.
This is what Ricky is like. Ricky Smiles like fam, like, you know what I mean? I know you ain't getting.
Listen, the problem is this. Standard, awareness.
Yeah, value, education, and delivery.
In that type of situation, he made a lot of mistakes in that same situation. He didn't have, I'm not going to go with standards. I'm not going to knock the man's standards.
And not at all. Not at all. That may not apply to him.
He didn't have the best awareness at that time.
Absolutely. That applies. Yeah.
He didn't have the best awareness at the time.
Yeah.
His delivery was definitely wrong. He admitted it.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though he may have the education of being a pastor, what you got to do when you're dealing with people, you got to keep being educated.
Absolutely.
because you really didn't pay attention. You wasn't really aware of the energy that was in the room.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which made your delivery incorrect. It's just
Right.
like when a comedian goes up. See, this is the difference. When a comedian goes up and he may make a certain joke about anything that people will say, oh, he went too far.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Whether it's race, gender, sexual preference.
Like they all just walked out on Corey Holcomb the other day for the show in VA because apparently what he was saying, not to switch it real quick, the women felt offended.
Yeah.
And they
people used to walk out on Paul Mooney all the time.
Yeah, another
because they go. But at the same time, some people have this thing in their head that I gotta be this hard,
right,
to get your attention,
right.
And I really mean this,
right.
But you gotta become aware.
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta become aware of your delivery.
That's it.
You see what I'm saying?
That's all this is.
So that's how longevity goes because people will cancel you off the smallest thing nowadays. Because everything spreads like wildfire.
Yeah.
Like wildfire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
everything spreads.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Because they could put it up. Like when he said close, did you see the video of Marvin Sapp?
Yeah, multiple.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what you seeing that everybody, and I bet you it was a whole bunch of views on all of them.
I mean, yeah.
Everybody put that out there.
And perspectives, obviously.
And again, I'm not judging the man.
Yeah.
But his awareness at the time, self-awareness is the biggest thing in the world. He was supposed to say, if you're saying it now, that I could have delivered it better.
Maybe that could have been the essence for yourself.
Listen, I applaud for you standing up and saying that you could have delivered it better. Yep. I applaud you, right?
Yeah.
But it was better off at the time to say, you know what, my delivery, I can see how people can misconstrue my delivery.
Absolutely.
I apologize for that.
Absolutely.
You know, at that time I didn't have my true self. Like I really wasn't really aware of how I was doing it. Because if it wasn't shown all over the place and it never left outside that room and nobody ever talked about it, would you really feel like
if it wasn't Marvin Sapp?
Yeah. Well, it's not even just that. I'm just saying that anyway because everybody means somebody. I get Marvin Sapp's going to be bigger in the world.
It comes with it.
But it's also pastors that's made moments like this.
So here's what we'll both admit to. I think we can both agree to. Is he the only person that's done it?
Probably not.
Okay, is he the only one that we see a YouTube video for?
Probably not.
Right. But the point is I see what you're saying with it. But my thing with that is that because of who you are, right? And so this is kind of where I came from with the standard element of it. And it's not from a judgmental perspective, but I believe that everyone has standards. That's part of his human. You know what I mean? Because you say we're human first.
Right.
So we all have standards.
Right.
I'm not questioning his standards. We all have them. Right. So when I say, you know what I mean? So standards, awareness, like I said, the standard is if you're a pastor and you've been pastoring a church for over 16 years, you understand what the standard is in terms of how that is looked at if you're stewarding a church, right? You have awareness. You're aware that now people are looking at it and that there's 3 times that ushers are generally there's 3 times you generally don't move during the time that you're in service in terms of movement. There's certain things that you're aware of, the value. You understand your value and what you bring to the stage and to people to be able to see and look upon you for the word and the things that, feed their soul. You know what I mean? Education. You're an educated man. You ain't around here just pastoring churches and just telling people the things that you just feel like you feel good about. You're educated in what you're saying. And you do have to be mindful of your delivery. Like I said, the acronym being saved. So in a situation like we move towards that, and it's definitely a situation where you look at it for what it's worth, as opposed to, like you said on the Ricky Smiley show, you're doing too much. And if you were convicted to move to be able to do these things, you're doing too much.
Yeah, you don't have to explain yourself. You could have turned around and said, God, that's the way God intended for me to do it.
And who could argue that?
Right.
End all be all.
Regardless of how people would have felt about it. Because again, you can apologize for something, and a person can say, that wasn't genuine.
Right.
Yeah, because they want you to apologize the way they want you to
they
apologize.
Right.
People want you to forgive the way they want you to forgive.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But what it is this. If I was Marvin Sapp, I would say, listen, at this time, We need to sow a seed. It's time for offering. You know what I mean? I need y'all to give your best offering. Because when you say $20, you only going. Some people want to say he go 20, and I'm up out of there, right?
Word.
Because God told me to do it. I ain't. But it's just like
I know what you mean.
in certain places, bro. It's certain bars and locations. I'm gonna use this for example.
Got you.
When you got a DJ.
Yep.
And the problem is, some bars mess up because they wanna lowball the entertainment, right? Pause. Lowball. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Yeah.
And you pause it. And
it's kind of a low blow. You know what I mean? There it
Don't
is.
double down. Like, that's crazy. Like, you know, like you pause the joint and then you said, like, I'm not going to say it. It's a third time. It's just, the show might get canceled.
So anyway.
Okay. So you in the bar.
They at the bar. And they
trying to give you a low price.
And they give you a low price. They might say, it's people that might DJ at the bar only for like $100 or something sometimes.
Okay.
I'm not knocking them for doing what they
Absolutely
doing.
not.
But what I think the establishment messes up at is, are we going to get them as $100? But if they say, we're going to guarantee you this $100.
Okay.
But we're going to also, and I've seen bars do this, take a donation at the door for you. Because a lot of bars are open. Whether they have entertainment or not. Right. It's free to get in.
Right.
So they don't want to be able to handle that, the rest of that money.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So if they say, we're going to take a donation at the door for the DJ, and the people come in and they say, yeah, how you doing? Is it cover tonight? Oh, it's not necessarily a cover, but we are trying to take a donation for the DJ. Because he's here entertaining. Some people might say, oh, all right. They go $20 for him.
Absolutely.
They go $10 for him. Crazy thing about it, I've known locations to do that, and people will be surprised at what they get at the end of the night. It takes trust. It takes somebody that's really going to, you know, do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Unless it's other ways around it, and I'm not going to talk about it because that's, you know, I just manifested something in my head just now. So anyway.
Something we need to talk about?
Yeah, hey, you can definitely.
We talk about.
But my point that I'm making with the situation is that's how you can get that DJ to become more of a resident type DJ in the situation. Because he's like, oh, this was like that. I seen that move when everybody had their little reality shows. You remember Puff had Making a Band? Dame Dash had the Ultimate Hustler show one time. People don't remember when he did that. But because he only had like one season.
Right.
It was a guy that was on there rapping. He's like, yeah, I sell my CDs for $5 out my trunk, $10 out the trunk. So Dame told him, said, no, the goal is to get the music heard. We want you to get the music heard. So when you get the music, the way you get the music heard, you know what I mean? Hold on, let's get this shit right, man. You know what I mean? God, dog.
Where you get the music heard?
Yeah, you know what I mean? There we go. We back now. She's moving around too much. You want to get your music heard. So what you tell them is, here, I got my CD, whatever. I'm trying to get my music heard, but I'll give it to you. But at the same time, if you want to make a donation, they say, oh, okay, you want to make a donation, you'll be surprised how much money you get. Because how much did it really cost you to make the CD pressed up if you pressed them yourself?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, I remember back when I used to turn around and get CD covers printed out. You know how the old mixtape CD covers, it wasn't like the quality was the best. It could be on regular paper. It might have cost you 59 cents a CD to burn. The print might have cost you, let's just say it cost you $1 to make the CD, $2 to make the CD, right? For each CD. And somebody just said, oh, here go a donation, here go $5. You already keystoned your money. You already made a profit. You already doubled your money. Nobody looks at it like that. They look at it as more so, I want $10 for this. But ain't nothing wrong with that. But some people are like, man, I ain't got $10. I don't even know what it sound like.
Right.
You're selling it for the same price. I'm about to get the little bootleg Hove CD for back in the day. Really think about it.
Right.
You rhyming over his beat. I want to hear his song.
It's true.
But if I turn around and say, here, you can have it. I'm just take a donation. Somebody might, oh, hey, man, go $3. Go $5. By the end of the night, damn, I done made $200 off these CDs right quick. Let me go burn some more. Do that on this side of town. That's how it works. Sometimes I understand to put a price and a value on things, but art is a little different.
I agree.
Art is a little different.
I agree.
So I say all this to say people are more reluctant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or more inclined to want to help and give to you when they see that it's really me just trying to get this message across.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no question.
Regardless if he needed the 40,000 or not.
Yeah, I think we can agree, right, that delivery, unfortunately, is the culprit.
Right.
Right? Because I'm not going to do a deep dive into his pocket. The man says he has multiple streams of income, and I believe him.
Right.
I think he's pretty successful. You know what I mean? It got deep on Ricky Smiley's show. He went in there to talk about, you know what I mean? I got to take care of my family, you know, my kids. You know, I'm a widower. You know, my wife. It was a lot of things that, like, bro, you ain't even got to. Fam, you really don't got to do this.
Right.
You really don't have to. You know what I mean? You came on the show later on because he said this actually took place like in August. That video. My thing is with that situation. I think what we learned from that. You know what I mean, you always build on what we learn from these experiences. I think what we learn from it is that delivery is a big deal, right? Like what we say is important, but how we say it is even more. You know, I say that because when I watched him make this statement, and this was the part that left a little bit of a sour taste in some people's mouths, I would assume, man, you know, I don't know, but I would assume. When he told the people that was up there on the stage, even though I think that it was from a place of, if you're up here with me, it's because you hold a significant role in this. You hold a significant role in being, you know, pillars in the community dealing with this situation, dealing with church and everything. But when you tell them to put their $20 away, I'm asking for all of y'all to give $100. Because it costs to be up here. Mm-hmm. If the cost is not associated with currency, because he made it his business to say it, but you're telling them to put their $20 back to go get $100, I just think it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate where this is going to go for him. And in time, all these things will definitely, you know, move on, and people will eventually, you know, get fixated on something else. It's just how the world works.
Yeah.
We do have to remember that, you know, taking ownership on things and how we respond to our errors, because we are human, shows that, you know, we can be very vulnerable, but we also can be human enough for you to say, you know what? I accept that. I don't agree with what you did, but I agree with you acknowledging the fact that maybe you were a little too aggressive in telling the ushers, close the doors. Maybe I did look at that differently. Maybe, you know, the way that you told the people that was up on the stage, I want you to put your 20 away. And you watch certain people, they had their money out, put your 20 away. I'm asking everybody up here to give me 100 because it costs to be up here. Mm-hmm. In time, this will pass. So I think it defines the man? Absolutely not. I think he's a phenomenal artist. I believe that that he is truly a man of God. I do believe that.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think that he had a human moment. It was an error in delivery.
How the hell this shit get back down here, man?
I don't know.
Damn.
That's making it, too. That's making it. Gotta do that.
What is going on?
Switching gears real quick off of that, but still in relevance to delivery. Did you get a chance to check out the, shout out to the Breakfast Club, I mean, you know, with the interview with Phylicia Rashad?
Oh, nah. Claire Huxtable?
Great episode.
Gotta watch that.
I'm bringing that up because you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but there was a little bit of scrutiny that she came underneath.
Because of her divorce with a mop?
No, because of the...
Bill Cosby?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just guessing and shit.
Right.
You know, I'm sorry.
It's because of... it's cool. You know, it's like we're just going to treat it like baseball. You ain't having one more strike. I mean, you know what I mean? No. Because of the fact that there was a question that was asked in terms of, by Charlamagne the God, about, it was dealing with like kind of how Hollywood is set up.
Right.
and some of the things that the women are wearing and
Right.
the way they dress and how they're presenting themselves. And Charlamagne was basically saying so many words, that he feels like they would have had a tough time back in the day in
Absolutely.
Hollywood, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, yeah.
And so he asked her, and she was very, very, and like I said, if you get a chance to see it, for those who are listening to the show, if you saw it already, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. When she was saying that I hope the sisters don't take offense to what I'm saying, because that's definitely not what my intent is.
Right.
But y'all queens. Not only so much a situation you worried about a thing with Hollywood, she said, but, looking at Charlamagne, she said, but what man would want them?
Yeah.
The way you're dressing, the way you're presenting yourself. Back in the day, we wore, gowns and we dressed very, very differently, very elegantly, very, in that regard. She got a lot of scrutiny, a lot of backlash from other people.
Well, that's expected, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with her approach and delivery of what she was saying.
See what I'm saying?
At the same time, bro, truth hurts.
See what that's why I wanted to switch and
whether
go there,
you
because
can
that's a different
or
example.
you can't, you're absolutely right. So what you believe you are is what you are. Yeah, some women don't feel like, I understood what she's saying that we're queens. Some people don't feel like, or if I want to twerk, if I want to shake, then that don't make me no less than a queen. And it's not wrong for them to feel that way.
Right.
But at the same time, what she's saying is, what y'all think the men are really attracted to, a lot of them aren't.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I tell people all the time. They might say, "Oh, that girl ain't that cute," or "This person." I said, I don't understand how many times I could tell women over and over what men attract to is energy. The same thing that they attract to. At the end of the day, it's just women that walk around and like, oh, that's that BD energy. I'm not going to say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
And this and that. Men, if we walk around and talk like that, it's out of our character.
Yeah.
We don't have to say it.
Yeah.
We just do it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, again, you might say, he don't even match with her. Yes, he do. Because when they go home at night, they love each other. They laugh. That energy clash. She just, or when you see interracial dating, and somebody turn around and say, oh, okay, well, they can have him anyway. We ain't want him anyway. Because he don't care. Because that's who he wanted anyway.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
When people talk on that, sometimes it almost makes it seem like, sweetheart, you're jealous because he didn't attract to you or someone that looks like you.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging y'all, but I'm just telling y'all, some people think they know what everybody wants or how the world is supposed to go.
Right.
And half of them don't even know what they want themselves.
Right.
That's why they're too fixated and focused on what else is going on with other people.
Yep.
The reason why Charlamagne felt like it was necessary to ask her that question is because the way she explained how they were back in the day, that's exactly how he sees her.
Absolutely.
We all see
she's
Phylicia.
76 years old.
That's what I'm saying. But Phylicia Rashad's whole career.
Absolutely.
But she knows how to have fun.
Absolutely.
If you watch DR from Detroit.
So that came up. You check that. It's
what
only
I'm
about
saying?
52 minutes.
I'm going to check it out when I get a chance. But what I'm just saying, if you watch DR from Detroit.
They asked about that
and
character.
You watching her and she's cussing and like, you never expected to see that.
Yeah, they asked about that.
But she's an actress at the same time.
But she said, that was a character, right?
Right, yeah. But what I'm saying is, you don't see her running around half butt naked.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, because they even brought up the part about something. She supposedly slept with all the Temptations. She was like, come on, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, it was funny. But no, she caught backlash from the situation because since we're talking about it, like you said, based on delivery, bro.
Right.
And what she was saying is how people are out here delivering themselves to people.
Right.
It's the package. It's the way that you're delivering yourself.
Listen, when you use anybody, and I'm not men, women, whatever.
Absolutely.
When you use your body to sell, it's going to run out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're going to get older. I'm not even going to sit here and say something might happen to you, get a disease, because I'm not wishing that on nobody.
Right.
But you'll get older, and then there'll be another young girl after you.
Yeah.
So what Phylicia Rashad did in her career, I'm gonna carry it this way as black excellence, and that way I last. 76 years old on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
We know her as Claire Huxtable.
Yeah.
Right? That's her most prominent.
Absolutely.
Okay, character we gonna always look at her as. Because a lot of it's This is when you know, and I'm going to say this. This is when you know how they know you. Okay, Amari Hardwick.
Talked about him having.
You going to always call him what? Ghost.
No, she talked about him. I'm sorry. Chadwick Boseman.
Now, Chadwick Boseman, we call him Chadwick.
Yeah, but
that's
what she was talking about. But
right.
I got you. Amari Hardwick, we're going to call him Ghost.
We call him Ghost.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Kerry Washington.
Yeah, she's going to be Olivia Pope.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Now, Viola Davis is Viola Davis, not Annalene, but she's Viola Davis.
Absolutely.
Because she has so many roles. Not taking nothing from Kerry Washington, but she's going to always be Olivia Pope. Denzel Washington is Denzel. Not even his whole name, Denzel. Will Smith is Will Smith.
Absolutely.
If anything, they might call him the Fresh Prince because he was a rapper first.
Right.
But he's still Will Smith. But certain characters are going to always be known as this. I said Drew Sidora. She played T-Boz on TLC. Right. You look at her as T-Boz in your own way.
Yeah, I just think that it's the delivery.
But even with Claire, we looking at Phylicia Rashad to be Claire Huxtable because of that. That's an iconic role. Mm-hmm. How was she in that role? Black excellence.
Black excellence. And so the reason why, because bruh, like there's an aura when you watch the episode. Ain't no bunch of cussing, ain't none of that. She's viewed differently. Mm-hmm. Like Charlamagne said when the interview first started, it's like, yo, straighten up, mama's in the room. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the effect that it has. And
same way with Drink Champs had Patti LaBelle.
Right. And so there's certain elements, right? So like, she actually operated as, I just want to bring this up here, she was obviously served as the dean of the Chadwick A. Boseman College of Fine Arts at Howard.
Okay.
From 2021 until the end of 2023-2024 academic year.
Did she go to Howard too?
She went to Howard.
Yeah, because her sister did too. That's why I know her sister did.
So she went to Howard. So, I switched from the Marvin Sapp thing, obviously, to this situation.
Because it's about delivery.
Well, first off, because we wanted to highlight that they're both excellent. Mm-hmm. They're both great people. Mm-hmm. But it's the delivery, right? He has delivered some amazing music, some amazing things, and yet this is going to be a blemish. Right. And here's going to be a blemish that looks a little weird on him because of a delivery that he is going to be just
He'll get past it.
He's already passed it. But the reality of it is you look at a person like a Phylicia Rashad, and the question was asked, once again, by Charlamagne the God. The women that are in the industry now, some of the ways that they're dressing and the way that they're presenting themselves, do you think that they would have had a hard time in Hollywood back then? And she said, Hollywood. Just in life in general now, by the way they're presenting themselves. Once again, my focus is delivering, how you deliver yourself. And when you present yourself a certain type of way, you're viewed as the package that you present, right? Claire Huxtable was the package that we saw.
Right.
So every time we saw Phylicia Rashad, we immediately associated her with a lawyer that was a very well-spoken person that spoke Spanish as well as English.
Multiple languages.
Language, was married to a doctor. It was an amazing thing. And it carried her all the way through those things. This is why they asked the question about the character that she played in Daria from Detroit. Yeah. So, and she laughed about it because it was different than what we were accustomed to. And so the point that I'm making in that situation is that, once again, the acronym dealing with SAVE is standards. Once again, awareness, value, education, and delivery. We need to be more accountable for those things, right?
Right, of course.
And so when you are accountable and you are human and you are out here trying to present yourself a certain type of way, just always remember that even though you're being human, you do have to hold yourself in a certain regard.
We need both sets of delivery because you got some people that's going to receive it this way and you're going to have some people receive it another way. And what you're known for is what people is. Some people might say, bruh, I'll use for an example. You got some people say, I don't want to hear all that cussing.
That's right.
I got some places I'm playing clean version. They saying, "Yo, why you ain't playing the dirty version?"
Right.
So people are different.
Right.
But what you label them as. But anybody who's giving her the scrutiny and backlash, what else would you think Phylicia Rashad would say? So if you knew her and followed her in her career,
so that's what's crazy.
What else would you think she would say?
So before she wouldn't say went and looked for like the backlash.
Yeah.
Maybe this is me being judgmental. I'm being transparent with you right now.
Right.
I immediately associated with younger people.
Right.
Because I feel like anybody who knows her, The way she literally led, and we talking about the difference with Warren, with I almost said Warren Sapp. Wow, Marvin Sapp.
Warren Sapp would have said something wild.
Right,
you know what I mean? He would have said something wild.
I messed that up. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad, Warren.
And it ain't out his character. That's him.
So Marvin Sapp, compared to him, to her, is that when he said what he said,
be lying. Don't worry about it.
And the way it came out, he knows that he could have did a little better with his delivery. With her, she literally, before she said it, you know what I mean? And I definitely don't want to offend nobody by saying the thing that I'm saying. But I don't believe that any man wants to see that. Like, she looked at Charlamagne like, you the only man in the room, because Envy wasn't there for that episode. And, he said, yeah, something should be left to the imagination. Mm-hmm. And she's, and she kind of gave him that nod, like, exactly. But on top of that, like, you are more than that.
But
so I feel like it was people that probably just didn't know her and felt like it was an auntie that was kind of checking them.
Right.
Versus a situation where it was like helpful information.
Some people don't like to hear the truth. Some people, because I guarantee you a lot of people that was given a backlash, or they felt like that if the shoe fit, wear it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I mean, a hit dog or holler.
But the thing is that I'm like, it's let me tell you how well she's respected. It's a video that they got up on YouTube or like different pictures, and it'd be like the Cosby Show episode that got the show banned, right?
Yeah.
And it show her sitting there laughing like her tongue, and she got on some like
they got one with Denise too,
right?
Like that.
And you know what somebody said at the bottom?
What?
Nah, man, this ain't real. There ain't been not one damn episode where they had her like this. Come on, why is y'all doing that to my aunt, my favorite TV auntie? That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got to realize, like you said, bro. See, certain people, certain things, certain situations is Bill Cosby and Phylicia Rashad never bit their tongue.
No.
Their delivery was always a certain way.
Absolutely.
You got comedians like Eddie Murphy who said he felt offended when Bill called him.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And things of that nature. And we understood. I definitely understood where they were coming from and why they were the way that they were. Mm-hmm. However, we all know what actually happened to his demise, like, his demise and what how
right,
he
everything, right,
the things around it.
Right.
Because of that,
yep,
that show was no longer in syndication.
Right.
Like, where do you see the Cosby Show playing? Like
every day at my house.
Yeah, but what does it? But I'm saying, what channel does it come
on? Bro, it come on. I don't know what my wife watching on MTV, Dabble.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
BT. Yeah, she watching on all
but it ain't
that.
like. But you'll see Martin around way more than you see now. That you actually see. You see Martin on BET, HBO Max, all them type of shows. Like,
that's
you
true.
get what I'm saying?
That is true. That is
right?
True.
Fresh Prince the same way.
Yep.
Jamie Foxx the same way.
Yep.
Now these are all great shows.
Yep.
And they carried themselves in a great way.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But a lot of the younger people didn't necessarily sit and watch, because by the time you look at someone, say you 22 years old, Bill Cosby was already tainted.
Right.
You don't want to look. You don't want to look at Bill like that no more.
Right. Right.
So you're not synced, because it's still the Cosby Show.
That's right.
See, I always laughed at the name that it was called the Cosby Show.
Right.
But nobody on the show was named Cosby.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like Martin was Martin. The Jamie Foxx show.
Yeah.
Jamie was still. He was Jamie King,
mm-hmm.
but Martin was just Martin. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my point that I'm making is, most people that's probably talking what they saying about Phylicia Rashad doesn't understand. I'm not saying they gotta, just because who she is, they gotta agree with her.
Right.
But Phylicia Rashad falls in the category of what Cicely Tyson fell in years ago. Maybe not necessarily completely in her acting.
Right.
Because Cicely Tyson was in everything.
I understand what you're saying.
But the way they carried themselves, they were always black excellence.
I agree.
In movies,
I agree.
Female, like they,
I agree.
You all your celebrities, like your Halle Berrys and your Vivica Foxes and all them type of people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They still looked at her. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
As a queen.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I think it just proves the fact that the people aren't always ready just to receive information, right? So that's the education part of SAVE. they're not always ready to receive it. And so because of that, they take offense. Right? And so when you look at a situation like, here's a person that led with, this is not meant to offend at all.
Right.
Mind you, she didn't voluntarily say this. The question was asked. Had the question never been asked, she's not even sharing that.
That's what I'm saying.
So
she ain't tell him to lock no doors. She ain't tell him I need $20.
She ain't say that.
I need $20 from the cameraman because it costs to be in here. I had to get that one off. I gotta get that one off. So that's funny.
The thing is like when you look at a situation, so from the perspective of, like, when you look at a situation like, if Dick Gregory said it the way he said it, people appreciated his delivery.
Yeah.
Because you became accustomed to it.
Right.
It's what he did. It's Paul Mooney. It's the way he said it.
Yeah.
There are certain ways. If they didn't say it, like if you heard Dick Gregory talk such and 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 such, you would look at it a little bit differently. So I think that what we get lost in sometimes is the information is there. Mm-hmm. Delivery does play a big role, though.
Delivery plays a big role, and who's the messenger? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because just like you got Dick Gregory, that was raw and uncut, just gonna say it the way he gonna say it. You also had Harry Belafonte. That's gonna say it. Yeah, we gotta be. Hey, man. But everybody knew. For example, Dr. Martin Luther King, legend, holiday. Everything. We all know I Have a Dream. We all know civil rights.
Absolutely.
The Reverend Doctor.
Absolutely.
Okay, they said he'd be somewhere, he finished the show, I mean preaching, and turn around and say, all right, come on, man, they got the James Brown show up the street.
Yeah.
Now the James Brown gonna turn around and cuss you the hell out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just, both people are needed.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
Absolutely.
Both
Absolutely.
You want
to do some Would You Rathers, or you want to get out of here?
Before we get up out of here,
we do a couple of them before we get up out of here.
I mean, welcome to another episode of Would You Rather. It's been a minute. I'm going to stop playing with it and get right to it. Let's go.
Once again, y'all, it's been a minute, but welcome to another episode of Would You Rather, where I ask E a series of questions, and, if I'm lucky, I get a straight answer. If the question's good enough, I even share my perspective and opinion as well.
They're good enough.
We're going to get right there to it. This guy, man. Would you rather have eyes in the back of your head or be able to taste with your fingers?
That's a good question.
I think that's actually pretty solid.
That's a solid question.
Once again, would you rather have eyes in the back of your head or be able to taste with your fingers?
So all I got to do is touch it, not taste what it tastes like?
Taste it.
Nah, put the eyes in the back of my head, man.
Okay.
Watch my back. Sometimes I got to watch my own
So
back.
if you got eyes in the back of your head and you still got eyes in your front of your head, like, how do you going to know which way? Like, I wonder how that throws off on your body, because then, like, I don't know, bro. I might be a little nervous about that.
It's just like anything else.
What else is like that?
I'm going to explain it to you. Okay. Explain it to you.
Yes.
Well, you look forward. I can't see my face.
Okay.
But I know what the front of my body looks like.
Right.
I know I have a hands in the front.
Right.
But if I look
I know I have a hand.
If I have a hands, I have a hands. I have hands in the front. I have a hands. You know what I mean? I can see for, I'm not going to go X-rated.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at the back of my head, all I'm gonna do is look, and I can see the back of my feet. So I know that I'm looking at the back. That's the back vision.
Yeah. So, like,
you didn't. Doesn't mean you're both working at the same time. I might just say, let me see what's going on.
Now,
I might go like this. Let me see what's going on in the back.
Right. Like, if you have the ability to select which ones.
Yeah, you probably do.
Yeah, you freestyle. I'm just saying, if you do, we can put that in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But your fingers, it ain't like you, all right, cut finger, taste off.
Nah.
So now I'm just doing my DJ and stuff.
Nah.
You know what I mean? All right,
I touch too much stuff with my finger. Now, I mean, you touch something.
No, but you got to make it even, bro.
You got to activate it.
If you're going to do that for the eyes in the back of your head, you got to do it for the fingertips.
Oh, yeah, I'm not doing that anyway. That's nasty to touch food like that.
Okay, yeah. I got there a long time ago.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize whether or not we could cut them off.
You said.
That's the only way it's going to even, to me.
Right.
Other than that, bro, you'll be sick all the time. Anytime your finger, you'll be done. You know what I'm saying? All right. Would you rather get a paper cut every time you turn the page, or bite your tongue every time you eat?
Nah, turn the page, man. Because I'm gonna put a thimble on it.
I'm gonna tell you.
I gotta protect my fingers.
I mean, that's smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
You know.
But come on, man. Biting your tongue, that is
I just read books with gloves on or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you bite your tongue by mistake, you
aggravated. Not only do it hurt, but you mad.
Yeah.
I'll bite my own tongue. You know what I'm saying? Well, who else tongue you gonna bite?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man.
There's some nasty shit out here with people biting tongues. You know?
Hey, man.
Long time.
Would you rather oversleep every day for a week or not get any sleep at all for 4 days?
I gotta oversleep.
Every day.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Yeah, I can't.
Matter of fact, I be there told him, I'm going to be late tomorrow. I'm telling you now. So just start me whenever I show up. Because I'm not going to sleep. That's crazy. All right. Would you rather? Okay. Work-related type of job. Would you rather work an overtime shift with your annoying boss or spend a full day with your mother-in-law? That's easy.
Chilling with my mother-in-law.
Yeah, mom. What? That ain't even, all right, moving on. Yeah. I didn't know that was going to be
We watching old Tyler Perry shows. We going to eat something. We going to get something to eat. Like, I'm chilling with my mother-in-law.
Yeah. I didn't know that was going
to
be.
With you,
I didn't know that the other person was going to be. Yeah. Would you rather buy 10 things you don't need every time you go shopping or always forget the one thing that you need whenever you go to the store?
Just forget the one, man.
Yeah.
Just forget the one. Buying 10 things I don't need, I'm wasting money. Yeah.
Wasting money, and I'm aggravated.
Yeah.
Because the other one, I'm aggravated if I keep forgetting something because I done did that enough. Yeah. And I probably done bought 10 things.
If I forget the one thing, guess what I could do?
What?
Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. I ain't got to go back to the store.
Yeah.
We need an affiliation code, Amazon. Yeah. That was a commercial. Give me that clap that shit up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look 2 hours.
Would you rather always feel hungry or always feel tired?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's both an uncomfortable feeling. Damn. That's tired.
This next one gonna be the last.
Hired. I'm hired. Hungry and tired.
Hired.
A little bit in between, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you ever feel real hungry? You ever feel like your stomach?
Yeah, that's bad, bro.
Yeah.
I done had that.
And then when you tired, you keep going.
I think if you get too hungry, you're going to pass out.
Yeah.
So you're going to be tired because you're going to fall out anyway. Right. Last one, y'all. You know. Would you rather have 2 long front teeth like a beaver or no teeth at all? Either getting the beaver joints or they out of there.
Either to leave it to beavers or the
now the beaver joints ain't just long, him, but they big. They like you look like a beaver, man.
Look like a beaver.
So what you rather do, man? Beaver, no, you gonna go ahead and get the veneers or whatever.
Veneers, man.
You can't take my. Yeah, you can. It's all right.
Or like, hey, you might be wild. Get the 1-in-1. One long beaver joint and one snack.
Nah. We either gonna go all the way. Now you around here looking crazy. You know what I mean?
Just wanted to see how you felt about it, man.
Yeah. Oh no, I thought that was gonna be the last one. Last one, and we closing out. Would you rather speak in a baby's voice for a day or be spoken to for a whole day by everybody else in a baby's voice?
Oh, everybody can talk to me like a baby. Yeah, let's go ahead and clap.
No, in the voice. Yeah, the voice.
Yeah, they come. Hey, hello. Hey,
man, I can't do it. Bruh, I'll be so aggravated. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Word is bond, I'll be like,
I'll just go to sleep.
That's not the answer that always. If
I say, hey, little baby, get the fuck, get out my face.
Like Kev on stage with Tony Baker, shout out to y'all.
The Bald Brothers Podcast.
The Bald Brothers Podcast. How many 10-year-olds you think you could take? He said they talk to him in the baby voice. He gonna talk crazy.
Yeah.
I'd have to say.
I just let him talk, and I'd be like, all right. That's how it is, man. Thank y'all. That was the last question, y'all.
Get us out of here, man. Get us out of here.
That was another episode of Would You Rather. Thank y'all for tuning in. And once again, thank y'all for tuning in to episode 198 of the Porch Podcast. Yes. Do remember y'all can hear us. I'm crying from laughing. Do remember y'all can hear us on all your favorite podcast and streaming sites. Mm-hmm. Like Apple Podcasts, Google
Screaming
Podcasts.
and streaming.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Blase. All on this.
You know what I mean?
You gotta
Apple
love
Podcasts.
Yeah.
Google Podcasts.
Wow.
Audible.
Yeah.
Stitcher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Slunky Dong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. Podbeam.
Yeah.
Whatever you hear, you see that. Where they can see us, Happy.
Well, apparently. You can see us each and every week right on your favorite YouTube, on our YouTube channel, your favorite podcast, the Porch Podcast, each and every week. You can make sure that if you have not done so already, you click that subscribe button for us. You know what I mean? Please click that share button, that like button. Leave comments. Because believe it or not, me and E actually respond to all of them. Mm-hmm. As we say each and every week, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you. We thank you for the time. Once again, this has been episode number 198.
198, let's clap it up.
You know what I mean? Last thing I'm going to leave you with before we get up out of here is, look, we all human. Like he said, we all make mistakes. But at the end of the day, it's your delivery that's going to be able to make a difference. All right, family, y'all be blessed. See y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Who on the porch? Let's go.